What is going on, Laker fans? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Excuse me. On this Sunday evening, recapping the Lakers and the Milwaukee Bucks. 108-97. Lakers lose a game. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Got a lot of good topics that I want to get into. Please, before we get started, if you could subscribe to the channel, would greatly appreciate that. Okay, full breakdown here for tonight's show. Talk about the game, break down a little bit of the box score. Giannis versus AD. What a great matchup that was in the first half. Those two players, and would love to have some conversations about Anthony Davis and Giannis being in the same conversation. Maybe we'll get a little bit of that this year. Spent some time talking about some of the other players. Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes. It was nice to see Cam Reddish get some opportunities. Jackson Hayes definitely had some impact in tonight's or in today's game. And then have we learned enough about the team and the roster? Have you kind of seen what you were hoping to see as far as preseason goes? And a couple other things that I'll get into as well as we get towards the end of the show. But thank you for being a part of the show. Let's get started here. I do want to just I'm going to share, as I do this moving forward, I will share the box score. So we're both looking at the same exact thing as we go through some of this. So, okay. So first thing, get started here. I think this is a game coming in, and I think most Laker fans understand this. Darvin Ham's being very strategic in the preseason. You're only going to play LeBron James so many games. He's playing half of the games. So unfortunately, this is one of those games that he's not playing. Austin Reeves is coming off the FIBA World Championship and or the FIBA World Cup, and because he's coming off of that, the Lakers are strategic with him so far as well. If you want to look a little bit more into it, Jared Vanderbilt dealing with a little bit of a heel issue, so they're not going to take any chances on him. Gabe Vincent, I think Coach said that he bumped knees in the last game. So the Lakers are obviously, they're taking their foot off the gas and they're being very, very cautious in the preseason. And frankly, that's what you're supposed to do. So Lakers, before I get into the starters and everything else, only shot 38% from the field today. So they struggled from the field. They were awful from the three-point line, about 26.5%. And then they left 7 points on the board as long as they're free throws. I think most of that was Scottie Pippen Jr., if I'm right. What did he shoot from the free throw line? He literally missed every single. I think he only hit one free throw. Let me see here. I want to double check here. Scottie Pippen was 4 of 9 from the free throw line. Got a couple more there towards the end. So really, you had one player miss the bulk of your free throws. It's not like Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to be in the rotation anyways. Rebounding, Lakers out rebounded by 7. Don't like seeing that stat. Good amount of assists, 23 and 25 for both teams. Turnovers, Lakers had, what they have, 18 in the last game and then 16 in this one. So still a lot of turnovers. What the Lakers did do is they feasted off the Bucks turnovers, 25 points off of turnovers for the Lakers. So something to keep in mind right there. Biggest lead for the Bucks was 13. Biggest lead that the Lakers had was 8 in this one. It's interesting. Every game I'm looking at, hey, are they going to announce? Are they going to tell us what the starters are going to be? Are they going to give us an idea of, are they going to give us an idea specifically of what to expect by the time we get to the first game, which is coming up a week from Tuesday? And I think the answer is no, at least not yet. Now, that could change. That may change. We'll have to wait and see. But that has not been the case yet. As far as the box score on the other side of it, looking at individual players, looking at not just the individual players, but the starting lineup and everything else. I want to spend a little bit of time on that. First thing that stood out to me, so the Lakers went, this just gives you a good idea of what their flexibility is. The starting lineup of Anthony Davis, Rui Hachimura, Christian Wood, D'Angelo Russell, and Taurean Prince. Look how big they can go. And that's without LeBron. That's without Jared Vanderbilt. That's without, some other guys that got off the bench that have good size as well. Austin Reeves is considered, he's a good size guard. They have so many different options that they can go to. But that's the first thing I did notice in the game when I saw those starters. Kind of got excited. A little later in the show, I'll talk about if you've seen what you've needed to see so far. And I guess that's part of my reasoning to what I'm referring to when I say that is the depth and everything else. But they start the game off. It's AD, it's Torian Prince, it's Rui, Christian Wood, and D'Lo. It's like, let's go. That actually is also a good indicator. If you got some guys that are out during the season, you still have plenty of other players that can step up and play. I want to spend a quick second here because I think the Giannis versus AD thing is a really fun thing to talk about, and they're clearly the two best players that were on the floor today. Anthony Davis only played the first half. Torian Prince only played the first half. D'Lo only played the first half. So those three players were only going to see minutes in the first half. But AD in the first half, beast. You want him to get to the free throw line? Cool. How about 5 of 5 from the free throw line? Want him to hit a 3, and he only took 2, 1 of 2 from the 3-point line. You want him to be efficient from the field? Cool. How about 5 of 8 from the field? You want him to grab 7 rebounds in the first half and give you 5 assists in the first half and 2 steals and 2 block shots along with 16 points? You literally cannot ask for anything more from Anthony Davis. And I thought watching him play in the first half, he looks fresh, he looks good, he looks healthy, and he looks like he's got a lot of help too. So seeing him do his damage in that first half, what a beautiful line. I mean, look how great of a line that is. If I told you played 19 minutes and a half and you walked into the locker room and you're not sure if you're coming back or not, let's just say it's a regular season game. If Anthony Davis in the first half had 16, 7, and 5, 2, and 2, I mean, I don't know what else we can possibly ask for. And here's the beauty: they're going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. It's obviously a good game. It's obviously a matchup against Giannis Antetokounmpo. So there's a lot of things that come into play. And AD I thought was brilliant. Speaking of brilliant, all right, how about Giannis on the other side? Yeah, he's a pretty good basketball player himself. He only played 15 minutes for the Bucks. He went 7 of 10 from the field. He had 16 points. He had 8 rebounds. He had 2 block shots. Now, he did have 4 turnovers, something to keep in mind there. But the number 1 ranked player in the world, according to ESPN, remember, AD is at number 10 this year coming in. AD's 10, and LeBron James is 9. The number 1 ranked player in the NBA doing his thing, and Anthony Davis doing his thing as well. So, it's one of the few matchups in the NBA. We only get to see it twice unless these guys, obviously make the finals. So I really look forward to when these two teams play because of that matchup specifically, because it's Giannis, because it's LeBron James, because it's those two players. That's what I most look forward to. So just a big fan of getting that opportunity for both of those players to do their thing, for both of those players to contribute the way they did, and us getting a chance to see two of the best in the NBA go at it. So Giannis, 16-8 with 2 blocks. Anthony Davis on the other side, say, cool, let me drop a quick 16-7, 5, 2, and 2 in the first half. We only got to see him in the first half, but I thought those players did a fantastic job. Once you kind of got through the first half, to be honest with you, I don't think there was too much there to look forward to. And I'm going to get into a couple of the other players in regards to the box score. But before I do so, let me just hit on the rest of the starting lineup here real quick. Christian Wood, not a good night for him, just 1 of 6 from the field. I'm praising the dude. I think the guy's, he's got the ability to be a walking bucket. Had a nice dime to Anthony Davis in that first half. Torian Prince still hit a couple threes today. Actually hit the first 3 to start the game. But he hit a couple threes. That is all that literally matters for Torian Prince. Just keep being consistent. Keep showing that, you're a threat. D'Lo continues to have a hot hand. 4 of 8 from the field. Didn't really force too much. Didn't have it going from an assist perspective, but he had 11 points. And then Rui was 4 of 9 from the field as well. A little bit of everything for him. 3 assists, couple of rebounds, and 8 points for Rui. So that was really the starting lineup. Cam Reddish hurt his ankle in the first game. And because he hurt his ankle in the first game, we haven't got a chance to see him. So there was 3 preseason games that we have not got a chance to see Cam Reddish. And this is the type of player where it's actually very important for a guy like Cam to get some PT, to get some opportunities, because you don't know what's going to happen in the season. You don't know how far in the depth chart that he is. But I thought Cam tonight, seeing him play, I know it wasn't efficient, Well, 4 of 11, had a nice drive to the basket, had 5 rebounds, had 10 points. It was good to see a player like him who really is supposed to be getting his opportunities in the preseason to show that, hey, I should be a part of the rotation, was back. He was healthy and trying to contribute. Jackson Hayes was an interesting one. Jackson Hayes on Spectrum on their broadcast, there was a lot of chatter about Jackson Hayes, just some of the highlight plays that he had, some of the defensive plays that he had. Was it Bobby Portis that I think he blocked? In just 17 minutes of play, Jackson Hayes had 6 rebounds. He had 3 block shots. He had 4 assists. So he was doing a little bit of everything that was clearly important for him to get an opportunity to show a little bit of his skill set. I thought, and I've said this before, I thought Jackson Hayes, when the Lakers initially signed him, I thought the idea to sign him was to use him like they've used the JaVale McGee in the past, where Anthony Davis doesn't want to play the 5. So he's going to play the 5 and Anthony Davis is going to play the 4. But that's clearly not going to be the way it is. AD is going to play the 5. And now the Lakers can play, a more natural lineup of having more wings rather than less. They got so many bigs anyways, and so many guys that are over 6'8", 6'9". But Jackson Hayes will be used. I'm sure he's going to be used sparingly, but I think tonight was a good example to just see how athletic he is and how he could be an asset at some point during the season, during specific games and certain lineups. So Jackson Hayes, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 7 points. And I thought had a really, really nice game, along with 3 blocks for him. Okay, stop sharing the screen there. Now you guys have to look at my face for a little bit. So here's the next question that I want to just really ask to Laker fans out there. 5 games in, only 1 more preseason game left, and here we are with the Lakers. I think we have a pretty good idea of what the Lakers are, but I want to throw this out there to Laker fans, because have you learned enough about them? Have you learned enough about the players that just joined the Lakers, the players that are coming back? Have you learned enough about the rotations? Have you learned enough from that entire perspective? Have you learned enough about this team so far? It's really tough in a span of 5 games, especially where guys are in and out of the lineup. LeBron's only played in 2 of the 5. Austin Reeves, I think, has played as 2 of the 5 as well. Anthony Davis, for the most part. D'Lo, all these guys, when they are playing, they're only playing the first half. Guys is in and out of the lineup. Jared Vanderbilt hasn't been in because of his injury. Cam Reddish got injured right away, and it took him a few games to come back. I'll tell you what I've learned so far from preseason, and if we've learned enough, I guess is the proper way to put it. So the way I would describe this Lakers team, this is what I've learned. I've learned that they have crazy amount of flexibility, that they have so many guys that can contribute night in and night out. I've learned that you don't need to have Anthony Davis drop 30, 35 points a game in order to get a win, or Bron to save you. I mean, you're going to have games like that where it's going to happen naturally, but they can win games if one of those 2 players are not having a good game, or they could win. They could win games if LeBron's not playing in a back-to-back. They can win games. The season's not over if one of those guys miss a little bit of time. Those are some of the things that I feel like I've learned based on the talent that they have. I also learned that Taurean Prince is going to be a really nice piece for this team. I've also learned that D'Angelo Russell, it seems like, has something to prove. When I say something to prove, he just wants to be of value to the Lakers in a playoff run where, obviously things are as important, as key as they are, and he finds himself in the games at the end. So I've definitely learned some things, but I think there's only so much that you can learn about a team and a roster, A, in preseason, because you're not playing all your best players and you're strategic with it, and B, because they've had so many players out of the lineup rather than in the lineup. So I've definitely learned stuff, But at the same time, I still think there's more to learn. But the main thing that I think I take away about this team so far, and I think the thing that is most important to me, is we don't have to worry about the way last season went and the way last season started. I'll give you a couple examples here. Last year, you walked into training camp and there was a lot of questions about this Lakers team. And, a lot of those questions, where do you want to start? A lot of those questions, it was, is Russell Westbrook going to be here? And I can't believe they didn't trade him. And do the Lakers have too many guards and not enough wings? And is there the right chemistry? Is there the right energy in this room? It was Darvin Ham's first year as an official head coach, and he was taking on the Lakers gig. There were a lot of question marks. I don't have any of those types of question marks. I don't have any of those types of question marks about the Lakers this year. None. Zero. All those questions that I have, they're more basketball related, and they have to do just specifically, they have more to do with rotations and trying to find the right combination. But I don't personally have any issue at all with this Lakers team. And hell, they started. I remember Anthony Davis was telling us during media day when they started 2-10. He's like, you had the vibe, but then what he was talking about with the 2-10, that they started 2 steps behind of the rest of the NBA, and they spent the rest of the season just trying to get to 500, and then they spent from the trade deadline on just trying to make the playing tournament. And then they got in the playing tournaments just trying to survive. And then by the time you got to playoffs, it felt like they had already played 30 playoff games. So that part, I really, really do not worry about. And I'm feeling good from that perspective. That's what I know about this Lakers team, and that's only a good thing. Okay, so I had the Buffalo Giants game on in the background here, and Buffalo just got to stop. They win the game. It's a close game, 14-9. Came down the last play. Okay, so I think I've told you guys this before. By the way, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notifications bell. I'm going to do this every post-game show. And I love the structure of kind of what I'm coming up with here. I love just it seems like it's more organized. It's my first initial chance to react. So I love doing it here on YouTube. I got a partner coming on board here pretty soon. I'm very excited about that. I'll share some of the details with you guys closer as we get to the regular season. So, yeah, moving in the right direction, Laker fans. Moving in the right direction. Okay, I think I told you guys this, so let me get this up and running here. I told you guys what I'm going to do moving forward is there's always going to be questions that I want to bring in. And any comments that you guys have that you guys throw on my YouTube or on the channel here, I'm always going to go back and take a look. And any ones that I think are good, then I'm going to bring it up on the shows and we'll talk about it. So I got one here from Alexa Merling 79, and I'm going to read it in just a second. I also want to encourage you guys to do this as well. Well, I'll save that for after. Let's do this one first. And like I said, really, really encouraging. I think actually what's the best topic moving forward, and I think if you guys want to respond to that one on just, obviously put it in the comments below. I think the conversation of have you learned enough? Has preseason given you enough confidence or concerns about this or that or whatever the case is? Have you learned enough on where the Lakers are sitting right now and what you've seen in 5 preseason games? So I think that's actually a good conversation starter. Give me your opinion and we'll take a look at them. Alexa Merling, Prince needs to start. Rui should be our 6th man. Oh, I got no issues with that. The one thing I don't know is if Taurean Prince ends up starting, I'm not sure if he's starting because I'm not sure if he's starting by default or if the Lakers actually thought, hey, Taurean Prince would be a really good player to play here. I lean more to my personal opinion is I'd love to see Taurean Prince as the starting forward for the Lakers. My personal opinion is I think they wanted to go Vanderbilt. Maybe that's part of the reason why they gave him that extension. He's going to be around with the Lakers after this year for another 4 years. At least that's what the contract says. Um, I have a feeling that was the game plan, but he's got the heel issue. So this is plan B. And Torian Prince is also making a case and playing good basketball to make that an easier decision. Uh, it was Darvin Ham on Friday, or Darvin Ham today said on Friday that, no, let's start over here. Darvin Ham said today that Jared Vanderbilt's going to be reevaluated on Friday. So it doesn't sound like he's playing in the final preseason game as well. He's going to get reevaluated. I mean, Lakers basically play one game in the next 9 days. They got 3 full days off. They play Thursday, and then I think they got 4 full days off, and they play Tuesday after that to take on the Denver Nuggets. So Alexa Merling, Prince needs to start. Rui should be our 6th man. Got another one here, kind of continuing part of our conversation that we had a little bit ago on D'Angelo Russell in the last episode. CD2545. D'Lo was impressive on defense. I'm shocked how hard he is playing D. Love it. Okay. Let me expand on that one real quick. He doesn't have a choice because from what I understand from Darvin Ham, and we saw the style of how Darvin Ham coaches, if you're not playing defense, you're not a guarantee to get PT. You're really not. You're not. It's not a guarantee that you're going to get playing time. So I want to reemphasize that one more time. That's just how Darvin Ham coaches. This is not Mike Brown and the Sacramento Kings where it's all about offense and defense maybe is less of a priority. For the Lakers, and I think for D'Angelo Russell especially, if you want to be playing towards the end of games and you want to be playing in crunch time in the playoffs, got to be able to get stops. You cannot be a liability on defense. So I'm with you. It's great that he's playing defense, but should we really be complimenting somebody for playing defense? That's part of your job. That's important. I think a lot of times it's not appreciated enough in basketball. So that's something that to keep in mind. All right, here's another one. Air Bailey Roy. Rui should definitely go for 6th man of the year. I think he has a decent shot at being in the conversation of that award this year. Can I tell you guys something about Rui that I don't know how much you guys have heard him in interviews and stuff like that. Every time the question comes up about starting, that's not the guy to ask. He doesn't care. What Rui wants to be playing in big time games. Rui wants to be playing 30 minutes and he wants to be closing out games. That's what Rui cares about. And I think he's going to get those opportunities. So every single team that's been incredibly successful, it seems like in the NBA, always has a player that comes off the bench and is a key player. You know, go look back to the Laker days and Lamar Odom, Manu Ginobili. I mean, you go down the list of all these different teams over the years that have won championships, and they got a great 6th man, and Rui can potentially serve that need for the Lakers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this. Questions and comments. Put them on the page, and I will use them for each one of my shows. Something also that I want you guys to keep in mind. So I get the opportunity before every Lakers home game to ask questions to Lakers head coach Darvin Ham. And today I asked a question that I thought would help us get a little bit more clarity on what he said about Anthony Davis. But what I want to encourage you guys to do as well, if you ever have a question that you think would be a good question or a question that you want to ask to Darvin Ham, when I read these comments, if I feel like that's a good enough question or an interesting enough one to ask to coach, I will. But it's just got to be something that I feel like is relevant, it's on point, and it maybe has a certain nuance to it. So I encourage you guys to use the comments for that as well. Okay. Speaking of which, I got a chance to ask Darvin Ham pregame question, and the question was. What I asked him was that, you know, obviously a lot of the conversation over the last week was what he said about Anthony Davis taking 6 threes plus a game. Kind of sounded a little absurd. And I didn't really understand how that's going to be, you know, something, why he would want that to be, why would you want Anthony Davis to be out on the perimeter, I guess is the best way to put it. So I said, what's the balance of wanting him to shoot threes and the balance of wanting him in the block? And he said that he thought it was blown out of proportion that he gave that actual number of how many threes to take per game for Anthony Davis. But the biggest thing for him that he said was the point he was trying to make is Anthony Davis, I want to have the green light. I don't want Anthony Davis to hesitate on taking a three if he feels it's in the flow of the offense, it's the right shot, and the shot is there for him. At the same time, he wants him in the block. And if he doesn't want Anthony Davis 15 feet from the basket, dribbling all the way out to the 3-point line, saying, well, I have to take a three because I only have two in the first half and I'm supposed to take 3.5. So I think the point that Darvin Ham was trying to make more than anything else is he just wants him to be aggressive. And he wants him to have the green light to take whatever shot that he feels is necessary because of how good of a player he is. I was not a fan of coach giving an actual number and saying, I want him to take 6 a game. I don't know, what the benefit of that would be personally, my own personal opinion. But it sounds like what he meant by take 6 threes a game meant more. I just want you to know you have the green light. And if there's a game that you take 6 threes, I'm not going to tell you not to take 6 threes. Now, if he's taking threes and they're bad shots, then that's a different story. I just always go back to the thing that I was saying earlier. If I'm a defense out there and Anthony Davis is 18 feet from the basket or 20 feet from the basket or 22 feet away from the basket, I live with that. And I let him take those jumpers because he can have a bad shooting night or he doesn't have a good enough percentage from 3 or the outside. What I can't control is Anthony Davis in the block, eating the rebounds, getting offensive boards, drawing fouls, getting to the free throw line. He's got such great touch. He's one of, it's almost like a lost art with big men these days. He's an actual skillful big man. It's not just athletic or anything like that. So that's how I always look at it. And that's the only thing that I would say there is when I pay attention to Anthony Davis, I like him more around the basket than I do further away from the basket. So got a little bit of clarification on that from Darvin Ham. Now, whether that, answers your question or whether you feel better about that, that's up to you. For me, I still kind of live with the same, the same thought process of let's get that dude down in the block. Okay. Those are really all the main topics that I wanted to hit on. And I think for me tonight, the biggest one was, have we learned enough about the team and the roster? I think we're getting there. I think I know a lot more about this team than I did a year ago at this time. And I think we're going to start the season with a lot less questions than we've had in the past about the team. And we should feel good about that. And I also don't think that you really need the Lakers to be in this everything's got to go right for them to have a chance and compete all season long. I think, no, they got options. They got talent. They got superstars. They got role players. They got size. They got speed. They kind of have everything that they need. So I don't really have any questions from that perspective about this Lakers roster. And that, I think, is what makes it so exciting. Only one preseason game left. For Lakers now, 2-3 in the preseason. I mean, you drop another one here. What the hell did we do then? Only one preseason game left. Expect this for the last preseason game. Expect everyone to play, at least the ones that are healthy. Expect LeBron to play. Expect Austin Reeves to play. Expect D'Lo to go. Expect Gabe Vincent if he's fine, if he's feeling okay. I think the only one that you wouldn't expect is Jared Vanderbilt, but I would expect all these other guys to play coming up on Thursday. The Lakers taking on Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, that whole squad. Yusuf Nurkic is there. Frank Vogel, the head coach now of the Phoenix Suns. But definitely expect all those guys to play because it's going to be the final ramp up. This is it. This is going to be your last chance This is the closest you're going to get to a regular season game before you're in Denver and the Nuggets are getting their championship rings and they're putting up the banner there in Denver. So this will be the final opportunity for the Lakers to do it. So I actually really expect a lot of these guys to play, and I would expect that coming up on Sunday. Last thing I just want to say, it was weird seeing Damian Lillard in a Bucks jersey. He wasn't overly impressive or anything like that, but Dame 3 of 10 from the field, 14 points, did have 4 steals and 3 assists. It's kind of weird seeing Damian Lillard rocking a Bucks jersey. I found myself just staring before the game, like, damn, that's odd. That's Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard's playing for the Milwaukee Bucks, so that's something that's going to take some time to get used to. Okay, Lake fans, thank you very much for being a part of the post game show here. 108-97, the final score. Bucks over the Lakers. Don't worry, all is okay. Lakers got a squad, and we got one more preseason game before all the games start counting. So thank you for being a part of the show. We'll get with you guys soon. I'm going to make sure I come back on here before this game on Thursday. Maybe I'll try to set something up on Tuesday right in between, and I'll have some topics to get into. So appreciate you guys being a part of the show. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks, Laker fans.